Hello, and we are back with Out of the Mud, Connected and Protected with host Daru Mitchell. And today's subject is deprived, say it again,
Deprived, depraved,
depraved,
or
and or
deceived.
deceived. Which one are you?
And good evening. I would like to define deprived as missing right knowledge and identity. Depraved because of the insidious nature you have taken on that is not yours. And deceived by the thinking that it doesn't matter as long as you make your way through life as if it was not purposed. Now, as far as the people coming into the world, being born, that is, and having a bloodline lineage to follow a course throughout eternity, set in a course of time from your beginning. Not saying that there weren't many beginnings before you, and there'll be many beginnings after you. So to say that in knowing that we as a people here in this country, and I'm not really um, going to state your origins, what lands you were from. I'm just going to say melanated people in this land being taught from a time of invasion and control that you didn't quite get any of the knowledge of who you were, your identities, and your bloodline lineages that connected you to the land. And with some of those things, I want to say that we as a people, when it comes to our ability to identify ourselves and identify that which is against us, I heard it summed up very well, so I thought that I might use that summation to restate it, and maybe others will understand it like that. And I'm gonna put the major difference, nature versus nurture, the principle of it and values at the core is not the same because we as a people, I mean, people like you and I, ethnicity, culture, so on and so forth, we believe in putting ourselves in the optimal position to help the most people. Whereas they believe in putting themselves in the optimal position to take as much as they can from the most people. It's not the same character typing. And, you know, it comes down to whether that's a deceit of mind, a depravity of mind, or is it a deception of mind? We we get to come to a point of agreement to what the truth is as to how much have we fallen in line with what we have either come to accept or are still in the process of changing to return to a level of civilization and culture that we make for ourselves. Where we will we go back to being satisfied in life with the things that we adjust ourselves to because we always have had the ability to be all that we needed of each other and for each other. I even though it's not a current practice to look at your history throughout your life, but there's been enough historical material documented, memorized, passed along to last you throughout your life and instill in you a sense of self that will elevate you much higher than most people even dare to conceive the ability to be. And it doesn't have to be in the material to the extent that, you have to have what you see others have because it's not necessary for you. The true joys in life should also, the true joys in life should also be bringing others joy. And I don't mean by, meeting their demands on you. I mean by sharing in love those things that are natural, and then how is it not possible to enjoy the simple things? You know, each other's company, each other's love, each other's um, affections, the things that you share within the spiritual realm, you know, of knowing that you're always ascending to a greater height of spirituality and the sharing of that. Um, I don't know any more joyous thing than it could be, that it can be. All the rest of those things come along with that. You know, you decide to go on a boat somewhere and go to Jamaica or the Bahamas, you're going to meet the same. You're going to meet people of likeness. I mean, as far as being melanated is concerned, because that's what's there. You have those others that force themselves on people, and they might yet be there in some systematic control over a little something there, but it's falling away. And it's not a problem for me to not have any uh, influence of those things. You know, what about when you grew up and when you were a child growing up, when things were as simple as, I don't need to know this yet. I don't need to know that yet. I can enjoy my time in innocence and, learning and being in, hmm, so at least in family mode of comfort, just having family. So, when it came to is where people lost the knowledge of a way to live, a structured life, because it was, oh, come on, dude. Because it was taken, because it was destroyed, because it was disseminated in so many ways that people had no ability to keep up with it over years and years and years of to not others planning in those same years and years and years and years to not allow you to know that. And they did it in so many ways as to deceive you from yourself. You know, we're beginning to catch up. As a matter of fact, we have caught up. You know, it's from the continent, as I call it, and others, I guess, to all lands that we came to from there. Surely at different times, But nevertheless, there was us all over all lands at one time before the lands broke up. And I still insist that I'll take that scripture in the Bible that says in the days of Peleg that the lands was the days that the land split. And I don't have a problem with that. Because if you look at all the land masses, you can actually see if you push them back together, move the water out of the way, that it would make one landmass. Pretty as a picture and broken as a puzzle piece. So, you know, I tend to have looked at quite a few things that told me, you understand, that there were contrivances all the way down the line for someone to want to rule the world. And if not the world, certain kingdoms at the least. And they did that. And they're still doing that. You know, in some places they have governments, in some places they have parliaments, in some places they have kingdoms, in some places they have all these other forms of rulership and control. You know, but at the same time, the masses of people are coming to the point where they're only loving those that love them, that are of them, and that are caring for them enough to tell any foreigners, "Look, we don't need you any longer." Now that we have come back to our senses, awaken as you want to not say we are, uh, have enough technology that we've always had, but you know how y'all do. Yeah. You know what you did. You tend to either have taken it for yourselves by uh, enslaving us, not making us slaves, but enslaving us to the extent that you thought we were loving it. You understand? But at the same time, did you ever consider that we were utilizing our abilities so that when we got a chance, we could use them for ourselves? And that time is coming about very, very rapidly, at a slow pace, but very rapidly, because the increasing of the looking at each other, desiring unity and desiring to have what we possess in our abilities and as our abilities to proffer us. Understand? From the minerals of the land to the knowledge in our minds that come that come in on waves of the vibrations and frequencies that we can yet attain the heights of. Because I go to where I have seen very recently that Maxwell Chickambusu's microsonic technology has been certified as authentic, as functional, and you know the market is going to make room for him. And I don't see any reason why there should be any other market when it comes to the land, when it comes to a sustainable, non-pollutant source of energy that can propel everything that uses a motor or whatever else is necessary. Free electricity. You know, it's not that he's going to charge you for the electricity because he can't, but he can charge you for a mode of utilizing it that he invented. And guess what? It's about time. You know, he almost died for it, but you know, he said it was a gift from God, and we do know that he does give his gifts. You know, saying my father's house are many mansions, but were not so. I couldn't tell you it was. So it is. Now, um, also had thought, and I was considering when it comes down to deception, being deceived, you know, we have taken on a certain amount of acceptance of us, acceptance in trust that somebody cares for us more than we cares for us enough to say that we should trust them to care for us, to the point that we overlook the fact that we've been made to be dependent in so many ways. And then they tell you, "Oh no, you're not dependent on us. As a matter of fact, be an individual and circumvent this independence. You know, um, strive to do something that you should be able to do just naturally according to your own abilities." And then when you have everyone doing according to their abilities and sharing with each other those things, it would never be a strife. And it's ridiculous for people to not see that, to the extent that they still want to entertain an ideal that you want in a means that you cannot have something that someone else tells you that you want. I don't understand, but I'm growing. I have grown to know it. I still don't understand it quite. That people have not, in so many ways, realized these things. Um, I also want to broach the area of, you know, there throughout history, throughout history, there have been those who have set their course on reminding us of who we are, telling us why things are the way they are, and also telling how they were made to be the way they are. And we seemingly don't want to have that information, or it's so conflicted because someone else doesn't want us to have that information to intervene on the progress or the structure that has always been, which they hold sway over, which they hold control over. And they want you to think, oh, no, it's always supposed to be that way. And it never has been always supposed to be that way. I can't go all the way into it, but I mean, there's people like, um, there's people like Malachi Z. York, Rod Hayes. There's a whole host of people who come to you in a manner that, as a group, you should be able to understand them in one fashion or another from your natural culture and from your innate knowing, the things that you know from inside you. And Rod Hayes is he struck me as very, very knowledgeable of how the mindsets, how let me just make it plain, how the people that came to this land made you think, took your stuff, and after doing that, made you think that they were always right, and now it belongs to them, and you're not going to get it back. Wrong. According to the differences of law, you have maritime law that came and invaded the land, but you also have always had the law of the land, which is now becoming able to supersede the maritime law that was brought in. Even though they're going to be kicking teeth, they're going to be kicking tooth and nail, and trying to hold on for all their worth. The cat's been skinned, the bird's been plucked, and uh, it's game over. They're playing the trump card now, if you can, take that as a code. Not anyway. And even he's turning his back on what they consider that he's doing, because we consider that he's dismantling America, which he is in a sense, because he has he has had popular opinion and so on and so forth, but he went against it and be in proving that he's his opinion of himself is all that's popular. Let me see here. I had something else I wanted to speak on. Oh yeah, yeah. I went in some places, back in time when philosophy ruled, because the major people who were being philosophical at the time, after they came from the mystery schools and studied in Egypt and so on and so forth, um, even all the way down, and I came to ethos, pathos, and the logos. Ethos, the convincing an audience that the speaker is credible and trustworthy. Tag Donald Trump with that one. Pathos, appealing to an audience. Emotions. Let me see who does that identify? Maybe what's her name? Jasmine Crockett, is that her name? Yeah, because she sure works me up, especially because of the way she can so stick that needle in. They call it voodoo or something like that, but she stick that needle in right where she gets their attention, and they can't get it out. And the logos, appealing to an audience's sense of logic by using facts, statistics, and analogs. Now, I might have to say that's a little bit of me, because I truly have uncovered some facts. And it's not that, they were secret, they were there all the time. And they told you, but they also told you it was a secret. Now, how you going to tell somebody a secret and it remain a secret? By not letting them be able to identify it. So we went all the way. I went all the way to a whole lot of things, such as the from the Anunnaki to the Illuminati to the Freemasons, through all of those secret societies, all the way to Bohemian Grove and all those other places, where they say, cut your tongue out or put you to death or any of those things, to reveal all of those things. But they were revealed in the first place because they had to make them up. And to make them up, they had to write them down. And to write them down so they could give out the way that they will be instilled into their clubs, their formats, the memberships, and so on and so forth, all the way down to the sororities that we think are so illustrious as to take that pledge to And before now, of course, if you don't, I have also stated what our pledges, oaths, and allegiances, and why people go through all of these paradigms throughout their life to indulge in the pledge that they made without any remorse once they find out they were stupefied into doing something that they didn't have the slightest knowledge of. Take, for instance, and I'll still state this every time. What was you pledging allegiance to in the elementary school when they first told you the words to say? And what did it mean to you? It's not that you didn't remember verbatim what you said, but what did it mean to you? So much so that it was subconsciously and subliminally implanted in your mind that whatever you were saying and whatever it was, whatever spell you were invoking on yourself would not be subconsciously there all your life. Especially when you said it every doggone day, every school day, if not on other occasions, every school day, every week of every school year from what, the first grade through the sixth grade in your elementary years, in your elementary grades. You know, once you start thinking about those things, it only changes from grades to college when you go to college, and then from college you get degrees, and from there you get what do you call it? Internships and tenure, tenure, and tenure business. A country person would say tenure business because that's all you have is your business that you can make out of what all the education you get. And that still brings me back to what that education provided for you. Did it deprive you of accurate knowledge? Did it deceive you into being depraved because you thought the depravity of all the things that you were involved in was normal because it had been in existence for so long, from the time of your birth at least, but more than likely hundreds of years before that, especially since, America only got independent of England in 1776. Or did you forget? Before that, where were you? What was this land and who was on it? And before Christopher Columbus, who were you and where'd you come from? Or were you already here? Because you know, I'll leave open that because I heard one say that the matriarchs of this land, the mothers, the great mothers, would send out her sons, and sooner or later, one of her boys is going to put all this stuff together. I ain't gonna use the word that it said. All of this stuff together. They're going to tell you exactly what wrong, what's wrong in the No Child Left Out or No Child Left Behind upgrades. And oh yeah, okay, here we go. No Child Left Behind upgrades and the psychological brainwashing. They're going to refer to you to I can't, it's a problem when you can't even read your own writing. Okay, let's start over again. They're going to tell you, yeah, mama's boy is going to figure it out. They're going to tell you exactly what went wrong in the No Child Left Behind upgrades, in the psychological brainwashing. Then they are going to refer you to Charlotte Asserby and she's going to break it down, what she did and what they were doing, how she was trying to convert it, how they chop her, oh, how she was trying to counter it, and how they chopped her off at the knees every time she tried to restructure the education in order to educate our children. So, she wasn't the only one. We got the miseducation of the Negro child. We had um, the psychological deprivation caused by the structure of education in the psychological warfare that was waged on her. But either way it goes, I'm gonna get back with y'all on all of this stuff. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna consistently put it in order and put it in series.
So you're saying this is just part one?
This is part 1/2.
Part 1.5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, indeed. Because it's been a long time of us being deceived, whether we were deprived or depraved or not.
Well, we've been all those things: deprived, depraved, and deceived.
Mm-hmm.
But some of that stuff we did to ourselves.
I won't say. No, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say they look like us, but they weren't us.
No. But
I'm going to say they looked like us, but they weren't us. So we didn't do it to ourselves. We were done by those. As I said, the difference is, you understand, we put ourselves in the optimal position to help the most people. They put themselves in the optimal position to take as much from the most people. So we didn't do it to
multiple
ourselves.
Things can be true at the same time.
Sure, it is. All things are true.
A lot of stuff we do is generalize
all
situations.
To those who did.
When it comes to control, it's only a percentage that can turn the lights out. When it comes to control, it's only a percentage that can control logistically what happens.
How many can turn the lights on so that they can't be turned on?
You have to be
so that they can't.
You have to be deprogrammed, and you have to have your own mind.
No. You have to have your own mind for sure. But being deprogrammed, If they can wipe a slate clean at a swipe, it can also occur in a swipe.
Well,
and that swipe can be coming to a level of consciousness that you never had,
right?
Because your frequencies and your
so going to frequency, the only so as long as we live under this current system, this fiat system,
the fictitious system.
So what's the guy's name? That did all the inventions lately.
Maxwell Chikubusu.
Yeah. So unless
his microsonic.
So this is what I'm saying. Unless society is based on things like that, we will stay in the same cycle that we're in, because it can always be reset by the people that created it. You have to destroy a whole system in order to get new and different results. We only going to get the same results if we live under the same system we are in. If you try to adjust it, change the color, change the leadership, it's always going to revert back to what it was created for.
I just say it's crashing.
Crashing doesn't mean destroyed.
Its time is up. Yes, it's becoming non-existent.
Okay,
it's on its way out.
I don't not agree with you.
It's on its way out.
But it's still. I'll put it like this.
We have been so wore down, beat up.
Yeah.
And man, it's a travesty.
It is.
But we coming out of it. Accept it. Enjoy it.
But you know what that looks like on the other end of that? It's called chaos and anarchy.
I'm not bringing
In
my
order,
child. I'm not bringing my child up in chaos. I'm bringing my child up in joy.
it doesn't matter what you bring your child in. It's
well, that's what's going to be left.
when you're changing a system,
left.
when you're changing a system,
Uh-huh.
and you're destroying a system, or a system is collapsing upon itself, there's always destruction. There's always
a child going to know that?
Children adapt to their environments.
Okay, so you're
so a child is only going to understand.
You're setting the course on that child for the future, and that's your future. That's your future. You're setting the course of that child for the future, and that's your future.
Understood.
So it doesn't matter of what the current level of chaos is or the chaos to come, because they're just going to grow up to not see it.
I hear you. So that means that this is going to be on the 2.0 version of the next time, and I might speak in it next time if you allow me to.
Oh, for sure. And yeah, I can put a 2.0 on it.
Okay, gotcha. Because this was 1.5. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So we're gonna cut with that.
And I'll say good evening with that.
All right. This has been Out of the Mud, presenting Connected and Protected with host Daru Mitchell. And this was Deprived, Depraved, or Deceived. Which one are you?